Tester, are you ready?
I am.
Okay.
And I'll apologize if these
Just so
have been
my
asked.
colleagues know, I know we've been joined by a few people online and here, so the next recognition would be Senator Cruz, and then Sinema, and then Lee, and then Mr. Warnock.
So it's good to have you here, Secretary Buttigieg. As I think you already know, there's been a lot of legs of flights that have been canceled. And the reason they've told me is because don't have enough pilots. Not because of demand, the planes were full or nearly full, and they've cut it back. I'm going to have Delta in my office later this week, and I'm sure that's what they're going to tell me. Can't get enough pilots. So is the Department of Transportation playing in this realm as far as getting pilots? Because I don't care if you're talking about regional or whatever you want to talk. If a plane ain't flying, a plane ain't flying, okay? Are you guys playing in this game as far as trying to get more pilots available to these airlines? And if so, what are you doing? And when would you anticipate this problem being solved?
Thank you. Yes, we recognize a shortage of pilots that in some ways is not completely dissimilar to the shortage of truckers we're seeing. And we think it's related to a number of issues from the pipeline in to the thinning out of workforces that happened during the worst periods of COVID-related flight cancellations, to some questions about pay and conditions. As with truckers, there are many pilots who are very well paid, many who are less so, and that can make it difficult for regional players to be competitive. Airlines are taking the lead with cultivating students and building those skills, but we play a role too and are making sure that even as we speak, FAA funding is being aligned towards supporting a stronger pipeline of people into the profession.
And are you monitoring how the FAA is utilizing these dollars? Is it, what I'm saying is, are we actually getting more people trained, or are we funding and saying do it, or who's watching them? Are you doing
yes,
that?
I've requested updates on how those dollars are being used, and we'll want to see them translate obviously into outcomes as we go.
And when did those dollars go to them? And is it translated to a bigger pipeline yet? And when do we anticipate, I mean, I'll be honest with you, because of the legs that have been shut, I drive 4.5 hours sometimes to get a flight that gets back out here so I don't have to fly halfway around the world to get to Washington, D.C. So and if I'm doing that, every business person in the state's doing that too.
Mm-hmm. So what I can tell you is that we're gathering information on how that needle is moving, and be happy to stay in touch with your office about what we're seeing and what resources we need.
I would like that. Last week you testified in person before the Surface Transportation Board, becoming the first sitting transportation secretary to do that in more than 20 years. Thank you. The issue that brought you there was an ongoing supply chain disruption, the continued challenge of keeping consumers from being able to buy the products they need, keeping farmers unable to bring their products to their ultimate final destination. It's a big complex program with problem with a lot of interconnecting parts, ocean carriers, ports, trucking, freight rail. It's going to take a lot of work to resolve the problems and to make sure that we don't end up at this point again. So, Mr. Secretary, based on everything that you've seen and heard, what concrete steps do we need to take, do you need to take to get past this?
So several things, and as you noted, we testified at STB about this and have engaged too. We think there are a number of steps that could deliver more fluidity in the system. Some are things that we're pressing on in the industry, including data sharing and clarified common carrier standards. But I would also say we have a role to play ourselves in delivering infrastructure that will help with fluidity, eliminating rail crossings and other uses of the CRISI program, which Congress has provided us with the funds to do. And it's one of the main supply chain relevant uses of the dollars in the infrastructure law. And we're working with all deliberate speed to get those out there.
As far as this budget goes, do you believe it's adequate to continue to address the problem in a timely way?
We believe it's a major step up and will be certainly enough to make a big difference. We'll be the first to say it if we think more resources are needed.
Doesn't everybody? Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Secretary.